And so it's important to understand what's happening with DACA and what we can all do. The judge in Texas clearly said that DACA is illegal. Okay, that means that people who were about to apply for DACA for the first time, people who already applied for DACA and were waiting for their fingerprints or already got their fingerprints, were suddenly told, we're stopping the process, you're not getting anything from that. People then reached out to me and said, should I be worried? Are they going to use that information against me? The answer for now is no. But we also know that it's going to take months and months to do the appeal to the Fifth District Court, and then it will end up in the United States Supreme Court anyway. So what we all can do is the following: whether you are undocumented, whether you are a resident, whether you are a citizen, whether you are an ally, and that is, you can all go to house.gov/representatives, house.gov/representatives. And what you can do is you can write them an email. There you can find them by the zip code where you live, and you can write them an email. You can write them a letter. You can often leave messages on their websites, and you can call them and leave them a message. If you're somebody who doesn't want to talk to somebody at noon, you can call them at 9 p.m. and leave a message. And so years ago, what my students from Mecha de SRJC and my students of Santa Rosa Junior College and Sonoma State, that is, what we used to do is we used to gather when we used to do this for immigration. We used to gather and get some pizza and maybe a soda or water, coffee, whatever it was. And one person would call and leave a message that would say, my name is so-and-so, I live in this city. They would list their specific city, and I demand immigration reform now. And they would hang up, and then they would pass the phone to somebody else, and this would repeat, and this would repeat, this would repeat. Once everybody was done, let's say we had 10, 12, 15 people in the room, then we would start all over again. And the goal was to fill their mailbox, their voice message box, so that the opposition wouldn't have the opportunity to do the same. And so this is exactly what people used to do in the past. I had a student, a former student of Santa Rosa Junior College, who, when he learned about this technique only a few years ago, he would call probably 50 times every night, just by himself. And he did that for weeks. So if you are a DACA recipient, if you're undocumented, if you're a US citizen, if you're a resident, if you have the U visa, the T1 visa, if you are visiting the United States, if you are an ally, you can do exactly the same. House.gov/representatives. And you can do exactly the same at senate.gov and find out who your senator is for California, for Oregon, for whatever state you live in, okay? So there's that. And then the other piece is called Advance Parole. Individuals who have DACA at this moment haven't been affected by the decision from the judge temporarily. But people are saying there's a lot of people with DACA who are feeling very comfortable. And what we're saying is temporarily because we don't know how things are going to change as they move through the court system. For sure, what people need to do who have DACA, are planning to apply for DACA in the future, or already applied, is the following. You can never be in a room with somebody who has marijuana. You can never be in a car with somebody who has marijuana. You can never be found in possession of marijuana yourself. You can never have a medical marijuana card. You can never be arrested with somebody who had marijuana in their possession. And in the police report, it's going to show that there was marijuana there. People always say, but it's legal in California, it's legal in Oregon, it's legal in Washington, it's legal in all these places. Well, that's fine. But federal law clearly says, immigration federal law clearly says, and you can find it online, that says that you become an inadmissible individual if you admit, or in this situation are found in possession of marijuana or a medical marijuana card, because you are basically admitting that you have to smoke marijuana to deal with a chronic illness. The government says there's plenty of drugs out there that are legal. The fact that you have to go and use an illegal drug means that you are so sick with your chronic illness that you don't have anything to contribute to this country. And that's it. Also, people who have DACA are considering applying for DACA or have already applied for DACA. You cannot have any DUIs. You cannot have any accusations, arrests, or convictions for child abuse, domestic violence, or gang affiliation. And I want to be as clear as possible because later on people come to me and they're like, nobody told me. Well, I'm telling you now because I get tired of the same conversation over and over again. You drink on a regular basis. You drink to the point that you black out. You drink to the point that you want to drink and drive. Go see a therapist because obviously it's not, alcohol is just a way of you to numb your pain, but go to therapy. And again, we'll do a session in Spanish about toxic feelings in a little bit. But this is important, okay? It is important. Now, the last two things I'll mention before we go to the break is advance parole. Again, advance parole says if you already have DACA, for reasons that include humanitarian reasons, I'll explain that in a second, educational reasons, or work, you could possibly get a permit to leave the United States temporarily and come back. What are the benefits of doing that? If you get married, are already married, or are planning to get married to a US citizen or resident, then if you go and come back legally through advance parole, then you will be able in the future to apply and get your papers. And this works for most people. But there's a little group of people who have DACA who cannot apply for advance parole without checking with their immigration attorney. And those are the people who got detained when they were coming into the US-Mexican border. Those individuals have to check with an attorney because those, even if they get advance parole, when they try to come back, the immigration officer may make them inadmissible and may say, nope, you cannot come back because we found out that when you were 5, 6, 7, you came into the country and we detained you. Okay, so for those of you, check with your immigration attorney that is trustworthy. Don't just go to anyone. Ask who is a reliable person. And so that's why you would do advance parole. And finally, again, so how do you do it? For most people, it's going to be the humanitarian reason, which means mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, great-grandma, great-grandpa are sick, are very sick, or unfortunately have passed away, and you need to go and pay your respects. You need to go say your goodbyes, or simply they're sick and you need to go take care of them on a temporary basis. And I have done probably 5 now in the last couple of weeks. All 5 have been approved as emergencies. If you have somebody who's sick and is not dying, then you can do one for the next 3 months where you fill out the paper, you mail it, and in about 2 to 3 months, you'll get a yay or a nay. So again, keep that in mind. It's extremely essential. It's possible to do this and it's legal. Now, you have to prepare yourself mentally if you haven't been in the country of Mexico or other country for 15, 20 years, because everything is going to be different. You may not even remember the people that are going to approach you and say, I remember you when you were little. It can be mentally very, very traumatic for you. So please see a therapist before you go. And also memorize somebody's phone number so that when you are there, if you have trouble coming back, you can communicate immediately with an attorney. And finally, special immigrant juvenile status. If you want more information specifically about special immigrant juvenile status or advance parole, DACA, you can go to my YouTube channel, Líderes del Futuro, YouTube Líderes del Futuro. But what I'll mention is just in Sonoma County, there are, what I'm guessing, about 300 children. I just met like 5 in the last week. 300 children under the age of 21 who have been victimized by at least one parent or abandoned or neglected. That includes that you came to the country on your own and your parent is in their home country, or that you move from one state to another and your parent is in another state and they're basically not taking care of you. Or you're living in the same state, but mom and dad separated, and you ended up in one place with mom, and dad is not paying child support or any of that stuff if you are under the age of 18. No visitation, no nothing. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, lideresdelfuturo@yahoo.com is my email, especially if you're in Sonoma County or Napa County, and we can refer you to some trustworthy lawyers. Not every immigration lawyer does this. Some of them will just take advantage of you or want to use your case to learn. So please only go to the few immigration attorneys that know how to do this. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with you here on KBBF and your show, Líderes del Futuro, kbbf.org or 89.1 FM. Thank you.